Hey foodies, and welcome back to Cooking with Kiana. Today I'm going to be making cheesy garlic butter mushroom stuffed chicken cooked in a creamy white wine sauce with spinach. This is a super delicious recipe. If you guys like my broccoli and cheese stuffed chicken breast or my Tuscan stuffed chicken breast, you guys will love this recipe. So let's get started. So for this recipe, you'll need a large handful of spinach, 8 ounces of mushroom. Half of this will be using this for the sauce, and then the other half will be using to stuff. 3 ounces of Parmesan cheese, in other words, a half a bag of Parmesan cheese. 2.5 cups of heavy cream. 1 cup of white wine. If you guys don't want to use white wine, you can substitute this for chicken broth, but white wine just really gives it that nice flavor. A little bit of olive oil to drizzle over the chicken before we season it. 2 tablespoons of compound butter. If you guys want to know how I made this, check the description box below. If you don't want to make compound butter, you can buy garlic butter from the store. 1/4 of a cup of fresh parsley. And for seasonings, I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1.5 teaspoons of lemon pepper seasoning, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 tablespoon of complete seasoning, and 1 tablespoon of herbs de Provence. If you guys don't have this, you can substitute it for Italian seasoning. And I'm also going to be using some garlic sea salt. Season to taste when you use this. And I'm going to be using 2 skinless and boneless chicken breasts. Now just go ahead and make sure you wash off your chicken, pat that dry, and then I'm going to drizzle that with a little bit of olive oil, just so that seasoning can adhere to that chicken. Go in with your hands and just rub that in. And obviously you want to make sure you flip that chicken over, that way you can get both sides. All right, so now I'm just gonna add a little bit of garlic sea salt to my chicken. I'm not gonna add a lot because remember, we are still gonna season this chicken with the seasoning mix. So just make sure you flip that over and get both sides and then season it to taste. All right, so now we're gonna take that seasoning and we're just gonna mix that all together. And then we're gonna go ahead and add that to our chicken. And I know this might look like a lot of seasoning, but it's not, because most of these seasonings don't really have that much salt in it. It's just a lot of herbs and flavors going on. All right, so just go ahead and flip that over. And of course, we're gonna season both sides. And when you're done seasoning that, you should have a good amount of seasoning left over. Make sure you set that aside because we're gonna be using that later. So now we're going to go ahead and cut a slit in the chicken so we can stuff it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start cutting at the thickest point of the chicken. Be careful that you do not cut your chicken in half. So take your time when you do this. All right, so of course I'm going to season the inside of that chicken as well. I'm only going to add a little bit of seasoning because I'm going to be using Parmesan cheese to stuff that, and that's already salty. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and saute my mushrooms. Just going to add a generous amount of olive oil, add in those mushrooms, and then I'm going to add in a little bit of that leftover seasoning. You just want to keep stirring these until they start to soften up a little bit. Then you want to remove them from the fire. All right, so now it's time to stuff these. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a generous amount of Parmesan cheese, a slice of that compound butter, and then we're going to add on some of those mushrooms. Make sure you pack that in really good. Then push all of that stuffing down in there. And I'm going to use some toothpicks to close this. That way, all of the cheese won't spill out and burn the bottom of the pan. So now I'm going to go ahead and sear this on a medium to high heat. When you sear it, it's going to really lock in that flavor, and it's going to give you that nice golden crust that you want. So you just want to go ahead and sear that for about 2 to 3 minutes each side. Go ahead and flip that over. As you can see, it has a nice beautiful sear on it. Obviously they're not done, so we're going to pop these in the oven on 350 for about 20 minutes. So this is what it looks like after 20 minutes. And honestly, guys, I could have ate it just like that. It looked so good. But you know me, I got to be extra and make a little cream sauce to go with it. So just go ahead and remove the chicken. And then on medium heat, we're going to go ahead and add those mushrooms right into that pan with a tablespoon of butter. Do not remove that fond at the bottom, okay? That is flavor, and you do not want to get rid of that. So at this point, I'm going to add in 1 cup of white wine, and that's going to scrape up all of that fond that I was just talking about. And you just want to keep cooking this until it has reduced to half. That's going to really concentrate that flavor, all right? Now we're going to add in 2.5 cups of heavy cream, and we're just going to keep stirring that until that thickens. So now I'm just going to go ahead and add in the remainder of that seasoning that we mixed up. And I'm also going to add in the parsley and just keep stirring that until everything is well incorporated. As you can see, the sauce is starting to thicken up a bit. So we're going to add in the spinach. All right. This looks like a lot of spinach, but trust me, it is going to wilt down and turn into nothing. So once that spinach has wilted, you want to go ahead and kill that heat because we're going to add in the Parmesan cheese. So just go ahead and stir that in, and that is gonna melt by itself. You do not want to burn your cheese. That will mess up the whole entire dish. So just go ahead and give that a good stir. As you can see, that sauce is starting to really come together. So now it is time to add back in the chicken breast. So now you can remove those toothpicks and add those in. Now just go ahead and drizzle that sauce on top and you are all done. Now let's plate this and cut into it. And of course, you know I gotta add some more of that sauce. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. This chicken was so flavorful. That chicken was just bursting with flavor and different herbs. It was just so good. Not to mention that ooey gooey cheese on the inside, and that sauce was super creamy and it had such a lovely flavor to it. If you guys enjoyed this recipe, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and do not forget to subscribe. I post new videos like every day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.